but we are talking about kind of James Gunn and the end of him.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to kind of focus on as well, because on one hand, this is a great Marvel movie that we've seen and we all got to enjoy and get that old school special Marvel feeling there, but also it's the end of this franchise. And I kind of want to know that with James Gunn moving on, how much of this was a win for the MCU or how much of this was more of an ad for the DCU? Because it's an interesting dichotomy here.
He obviously loves the franchise, and that was very evident in this film. I think he has earned the right to make this movie, like we said, self-contained. And I'd say there was a lot of pressure from the studio to put in all these hints to what they're doing. You hear about this all the time. Like, oh no, you need your product placement here. We need you to mention this. The best example of this, which destroyed the film, and I'll always bring reference back to, is Spider-Man 3. That Sam Raimi wanted to make a Sandman movie. He wanted to make a villain with like a great sense of duality. And it got destroyed by bloat. We need Gwen Stacy. We need Venom. We want another Green Goblin because that's the kind of money maker. And look what we got. Absolutely tragically bad film. So I say that pressure probably existed from them as well, but maybe he had done a good enough job to get the clout to say, look, if I'm going out, guys, this is how I'm going to do it. And I want to wrap up the story that I've sunk. What was the first one? 2007?
No, 14.
The first one was 2014.
Yeah, it's around a decade. Yeah.
I know I'm getting that wrong. Yeah, no, you're totally right. So yeah, like 10 years of movie making. And he did a great job. But yes, it's also a win for DC. He's going to take what he learned working with such a grand scope, and he's going to be able to bring everything he's learned and the pitfalls and perils and possibilities all the way over to DC, and he's going to produce some interesting stuff there because DC need a win. I'm looking forward to The Flash. It's a shame that there seems to be this curse with leading men right now.
Yeah.
The Ezra Miller thing as well. I mean, the guy's a complete another scumbag.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're gonna edit it after the fact to do something to, like, I've heard rumors, that they're gonna get rid of this iteration of Flash, maybe bring in a Wally West or something like that. But I think like that what he's gonna produce for DC is gonna be unmissable, and what DC have kind of obviously tried to follow in the coattails of what Marvel have done. And for me, they failed. I enjoyed Wonder Woman, Batman vs Superman. Not a fan at all.
No, agreed.
And they need, like, they keep rehashing stuff. The Snyder cut of Justice League is great, but it's be honest, it's a very small window audience. It is just for pure comic book fans who've read, Kingdom Come and stuff like that, like the real heart and Americana that DC does better than Marvel. Marvel kind of were a bit counterculture. I mean, what they did with Captain America, turning him into the Nomad back in the day, having to speak out, stuff like that. They presented a very mainstream focus, but there was always that stuff in the background of Marvel stuff that was different. So with DC, I think they're going to be able to produce that grand epic scale that DC are known for. With the set pieces he's been working with in Guardians, I think that is going to benefit DC greatly.
Okay. I think I think this was a great ad for DC. And again, just a reminder that James Gunn hasn't missed. Again, I'm very similar to you in that, like, Guardians too. I love the Guardians. I love the characters. I love the banter they have. So again, like, it's got a high floor, but yeah, I wasn't as mad about it as the other two. But I don't think he's missed. Like, even the Suicide Squad, I absolutely love the Peacemaker TV show. I think he gets it. I think he gets what we want. He's one of us. He knows how to make it. He gives me kind of Dave Filoni vibes, where you just feel that, like, one of us, we're safe in his hands, So I think this was a great ad. But also there's an opportunity for Marvel to learn here. Like we spoke about, if they could use the kind of confusion with Jonathan Majors at the moment now, and kind of the way that may throw them into chaos and have to see them change course, that mightn't be the worst thing in the world, because what they've shown here through this is that the magic is still there for Marvel. It's
Yeah.
not, it's like every time we get kind of an MCU movie which doesn't live up to the hype or the expectations that we put on it, everyone talks about superhero fatigue. And I am very skeptical about that. I don't believe in superhero fatigue. And I think this proves this, because I think it's a case of, if the movie's right, we'll love it. You know what I mean? But again, I think what's happening here is some of the movies are kind of going off course. Maybe the MCU is to believe in its own hype. Maybe it's become a bit too much of a machine and they're trying to prioritize or spin too many plates to one time. And I think this is just a lesson that they can learn, where it's like, no, guys, back to basics. Let's just make good stories, and let's do our world building in the credits. That's where we can do all our funny little like references and so on and teases. That's where we can do it. But let's just make sure we're telling a good story. So there's a potential for both to win, and I think ultimately that's what we all want. We would love
Yeah.
just an amazing competitive with two studios absolutely both knocking it out of the park. And James Gunn can be responsible for both through inspiring with this and through obviously being on the front line with DC. So could we be potentially exciting times, but I hope the right lessons are learned here.